I make a documentary, I'm going to share what kind of goes on in the mind for me when something breaks down. This one's not going to be a single documentary. It's going to be truly straight from the heart. This one's not going to be fun to watch either. It's serious. I mean, I'm a 46-year-old man. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. If anybody tells you otherwise, report it. I will make them explain it to a judge in a heartbeat. And I treat women with respect. Granted, I may have done more than kiss a girl on the first date once in my life. But that's between me and any woman that I date. Some of my friends are psycho, crazy, conservative. And I consider them my friends, but we wouldn't have best friends to hang out all day, every day. But I'm very transparent about who I am. Nobody can really look me in the eyes for me. And sometimes it's hard to trust the people who are helping you. Maybe they're good people, maybe they're hustling you. And sometimes I don't know. I got a lot of conflicting information today. And again, it's another day that I'm not working. Now, I gotta work since Tuesday. I've done very little work this week. And there's no lack of it. So this is a crisis. This is a problem. Trying to get access to the right information to make the right repair quickly. And a lot of times, there's only a few bolts and pins. You know, the guy at AutoZone tested the starter. He said the starter, there's nothing wrong with the starter. Some other guy that I met in the alley said it's the starter. Then you should get a new starter. I watched the guy at AutoZone put it on a machine. This other guy tried to hook up two battery terminals to the starter to get it to spin, and it wouldn't. But the wires that he was using had no connection to the starter. So I'm thinking, this is why I'm asking for help. Some guy with an out-of-state number called me, wanted me to give him a bid on the chassis first. And I wonder if it was a distraction or a diversion from a competitor. And he asked me for help, so I turned right around and I asked him for help. And he said, well, he didn't know anything like that. And here's what I don't get. Like, all these churches that I've gone to and given to and volunteered at my whole life, how in the... I don't think getting angry is going to do anything again. Sometimes I feel like I'm surrounded by people who don't want me here. I had a job working at a car wash one time. They got me fired. Period. The only reason I talk about it, I felt like I was a light in a dark place. And they sure as hell didn't want me in there. And people who are doing things they ought not to do, they sure as hell don't want me around. So a lot goes through the mind. There's a bend in the head. Somebody called a 5 mile an hour. That a wood force guy that I was talking to. And it kind of makes sense in the front. But there's a little point where it should fail or something. And so maybe something did happen. But I'm trying to do my job. And when you try to diagnose the problem, are you diagnosing, is it electrical or did somebody do something? I have more than enough reason to be legitimately paranoid. That's why I really want to be surrounded by some highly intelligent, fair people. Man, I have a heart for helping people, but I need to be with some people who are 100% sober, with who who look trustable and I can verify what they're telling me, that they're not hustling me for facts. I'm always straightforward when I speak to authority. I said, listen, I talk to everybody, from the ultra wealthy to the homeless. If I'm ever guilty by association, please assume I have no faith. Please take me aside if you can and say something. At the same time, assume I go out of my way to visit you guys, if necessary. I reported some stuff yesterday. Why? Because I just felt that I needed to. I don't honestly know what I expected this officer to do, but he said my area is definitely a hotspot. The guy who tried to help me today turned out to not have ID. And he said his cell phone only works when he's home, he's on Wi-Fi. Sometimes there might be some competent people who are frustrated for it. And I feel like I'm having way too many problems. Did I piss off some passive aggressive people who have a problem with me but don't have the courage or the actual ability to say something to my face? Or maybe I just have low trust. There's a lot that goes on in the heart and the mind when this happens. And my goal is for every setback to make me wiser and stronger. But today I'm not looking. Matter of fact, I'm afraid if I bought a new truck, that I would need to have a relationship. I'd like to have here's what I'd like to have happen. I'd like to have a buddy who owns a car dealership. I'd like them to take photos of every single aspect of that vehicle, brand new, inside and out. I don't inspect the bolt of the transmission when I buy a car. Who am I to say? And my competitors would probably fucking hate me. Seriously, with this aeration shit, I can make a shitload of money, and I can do it better and faster than a lot of people. And the consumers absolutely love it. I do theirs, and their neighbors are all calling me, hey, do mine, hey, do mine, hey, do mine. So I could see where that would fiercely piss off the competition. But it also allows me to pay some freaking bills, and that's the first thing I did. First thing I did with my plow truck was pay my child support, pay some bills, and I don't know if I should say this. You're not supposed to let your right hand know what your left hand is doing, right? Like, hey, look at me. Did you hear about a generous donation? No, I don't want to be that guy, but the first thing I did was child support. Send some money to the gospel mission into church, because that's what I'm about. And I feel like maybe God is calling me to trust Him and not people, because this trust towards some of the people in my life has been very real. And I probably won't know the truth this side of heaven. I don't know, I'm just having too many problems. Oh, but back to what I would like to see happen if I'm drifting off and I'm tired. I will have to get a brand new truck. Jeep, Wrangler, Z-Box plow on, pulse spreader on the front, hitch on the back. I like to have it photographed. Every detail of it by the mechanics and kept on file. From somebody from the best mechanics in the city. So that way we can figure out what part of the problem is or is not me. And even hopping over the ice, if the owner of the car dealership had like 3 yards for me to mow for his family, somewhere between Beaver Creek and Centerville, my prepaid for mowing has worked out well every time, with the exception of a few of them that I missed 2 cuts because my mower went down, my truck went down, I couldn't do it. Everybody else was taken care of, and I continue to do that. They have all been honored, with the exceptions of the ones who fired me after I missed a week and would not let me return. So that tells me if don't do that for me, okay? If, God forbid, I missed 2 weeks because my truck was down, I didn't take your money and run away to freaking Dubai. There are times where I literally felt like running away. There are times I felt like running away. Or I thought about running away more than I thought about sex. Being in here by myself is the hardest part. You know, period. That's what's killing me. I feel that I have to be deceptive and manipulative to get to the truth. And that's sad. I can only turn to South for so many times and say, hey, would you, then I feel like I would be crossing the line. And my friends like, oh, you should get involved and start volunteering again. Like, I want to. I don't want to be a sucker. And forgive me because the emotions are real right now. You want me to continue to give and serve and volunteer for another 20-some years while I'm living in poverty and hoping that will help me? Maybe I'm just years of now I won't be off about me. The church with me. The church that keeps me, the church that has we got saved, I like it. I spent my whole life doing stuff. Literally my whole life. And I don't want to rehash all the bad things that have happened in the past. I want to let certain things lie because there are deep hurts. So this journey to emotional independence is real. If in a perfect world, I would find a relationship with the owner of a dealership, and also somebody who can at least store my truck on my own time. Not a crisis, not me calling my mom and being like, now what, God damn it. Instead of buying a wiring harness, which if you go online, they're insanely expensive. I got a little soldering to make really, really good soldering joints. So for now and for a long time. A couple months ago, I had a wiring issue, and instead of buying a harness, I bought enough wire online to get delivered to rewire my truck on the next 2 or 3 for less than a harness. So I'm trying to make an opportunity, but I need help. But there's so much I can do. So one of the things I live by right now, which seems to be helping, is what can I do different? Meaning it's so easy to blame other people. And I think now my knowledge is surpassed more than those that I know personally. But every day I ask myself, what can I do different? What can I do better? Kind of like a pre and post gameplay of my life. spent a lot of money on food. One of it was loneliness spending. One of it was a fear of being poisoned, so I would eat out so I wanted to be not isolated and cut off. And survival. Did I piss off some cult voodoo guy or what? Some dude in authority have a chick that thinks I'm shit? I don't know. Maybe I could throw punches in the air. Somebody take something I said when I was being goofy and run with it. I said jokingly the other day, instead of women going to Panera, I would turn my home into a Wi-Fi spot, and then women would come over for Wi-Fi, laundry, and sex. Now, was I serious? No. I was entertaining myself. But some people will take the stuff that you say and run with it forever. And so, that happens. And as I unwind, I now have a digital soldering gun to make really, really good joints. And I say joints, I mean for soldering wires. I have learned a lot this week, but I have not paid new bills this week. And that's what's killing me. And it's got to be hard for my family to watch too. I mean, I'm doing better, but it is hard. And there are those who will hustle you when you're down. So I'm really hoping this falls on the ears of somebody who cares. And honor those who have helped. My friend who gave me advice today has been like a father to me. In many ways like a father, and has done a lot to help me. I try to keep my head up, but I'm terrified. Oh, other positive. I started a new diet. And this is where I talk about what I can do different. Yeah, I spend a lot on food. It's kind of a container diet where you get so many servings of this, and this. And your protein fits into this little container. Because this little container is like cheap as $9, but it makes you very aware. And I feel pretty good, actually. I'm not starving. I heard a nutrition guy say that your body is hungry when you eat certain foods because you're not getting the nutrients you need. And so if you get first the nutrients you need, your body doesn't crave all these foods. So somebody said one time, if you're going to eat a donut, eat a carrot first, because the carrot will go down first and say, it's cool, he's with me. But a thank you to my neighbors who ran to the store and for a vegetable run. Because in the past, I would have ordered pizza. It would have just made this, it would have felt good and soupy. And I feel like I'm dropping some weight pretty quick. So, I do have to believe that I am destined for great things. I do believe that I'm very intelligent and could be unbelievably successful. I might need somebody like brilliant enough to work on NASCAR stuff. Come spend some time with me. And sometimes I feel like I'm being sabotaged. And if I am, I would pray that somebody would do to others what they have done to me. Jack up their trucks and make them miss out on major clients and major appointments, and then videotape them and make them look like a rageaholic. God forbid they get angry. Accuse them of being mean or dangerous. Take everything they say and run with it. I don't understand. We're supposed to honor family as much as we can. I miss my father. And when you're hurt, you tend to lash out. But when somebody says they don't care, it's, oh, that's all. It kind of hurts me. I thought about as a teenager, my dad had this old Suburban. And as a kid, I was embarrassed. Oh, drop me off down the street. And I think it would be fun to take these skills and buy an old Suburban just like it. You know, fix it up and restore it and give it to my father. I don't know how he would react because we haven't spoken in years. He said he'd call him when he got back in the port, but I've never heard from him, so I don't know what's going on in his life, you know? Um, and that's kind of scary because that's what makes it hard. That's what's killing me. And you know, maybe it's hurtful when you think your dad is rich and can come in and save the day. People might think I have money, you know? I put zero down on this thing, zero. No equity. But I cleaned it up, a lot of sweat. And it's cheaper than any place I could live. And I rent it out, I'll have income to pay the bills. I walk around in designer clothing that I buy on half price at thrift stores. Yeah, people could likewise be upset with me. Like, no, I spend money better than a lot of people. But some people are just full of hate and criticism and plotting against you and not helping you. And God forgive me if I don't trust people sometimes. Because I feel like I have to play detective. I feel like I'm thrust into the role of, you know how Noah went crazy in the movie Netflix? And I don't think it was like it was necessarily that he knew it was overtelling, but he knew something was wrong. Do I have an Ellis? I don't know. If I do, I don't know it. Yet somehow I feel something is wrong. Am I having internet issues because I'm legally blind? I really don't think that whatever's going on is entirely in my head. And so before I end up dead like Lazarus, pissing on everybody from heaven, can somebody please help? Sorry for that last comment. I'm tired and I'm frustrated and really not want to do my job. But my garage door fell apart and it looks like all the hinges were made out of plastic. Never thought about it, but there's a word in engineering. When there's a point of failure at one point in a structure, the pressure increases on the other point until they all go pop, 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 pop. So I very dangerously, one piece at a time, put it back together. So good night, folks. I'm trying to make it positive. I feel like I've lost a few pounds in a couple of days on this diet. Obviously, that'll become very much quicker. And hopefully I'll be skinnier and spend less money on food. Because if I look internally, what can I cut as quick as food? Okay. You're all good at kidding myself. I'm a big man. I work hard. I need this. And sometimes we do. Sometimes we just spend it on the wrong thing. And so that's kind of my journey. The guy from who wanted to bid on this pistol mechanics put me in odd track. Very discouraging. almost to the point where I felt like, is this person a Christian or are they a competitor? Are they somebody who's just dicking with me like at this point? And I just didn't react. I just put the phone down and I kind of, to a degree, told myself to react. Like if I get a flat, I don't even think. Somebody the other day hit me a bad check. And honestly, in my mind, a split second thought before I could even react and get back to, did my therapist buddy pick you up today? Yeah, they're, oh, okay. And they ended up noticing it, and then they called me in and they told me. Um, um, did I try to keep a good attitude? I learned a lot. A lot of egg prices for starters on Amazon 100 times cheaper than at the retail stores. Yeah. Good night.